This holiday season, you're going to stay fit while also enjoying all your favorite meals. Let's talk about how you're going to make it happen. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Always Active podcast, the show that empowers you to lead an active lifestyle. I'm your host, Katie, and in this episode, I'll be sharing tips to help you stay fit while also enjoying the holidays because, yes, you can do both. Whether you're struggling with your mindset around health and fitness, with a lack of time, motivation, support, or routine, or even your relationship with food, I'll be sharing tons of practical strategies to help you overcome all of these challenges. So, without further ado, let's get psyched to move. The holidays are here and I'm so excited, and I'm sure you are too. This really is the most wonderful time of the year. First and foremost, I want you to remember the meaning of the holidays. This is a time to enjoy yourself, celebrate, and spend time with friends and family who maybe you don't get to see year round. And so the first tip I have for you is to really make the most of this season. It only comes around one time a year, and I don't want you to miss out. So please, please keep this in mind all throughout the episode. Not only is enjoying the holidays important, but staying active and fit during this time is also very important. By prioritizing your fitness, you're helping to prioritize your mental and your physical well-being. It's going to help you relieve holiday stress, which I know I experience around this time of year. It's also a mood booster. It can be a great way to socialize with other people. And if you enjoy fitness like I do, then it is a great way to have some fun. So keeping in mind the value of the holidays along with the value of prioritizing fitness, this means that we need to prioritize balance, where we're maintaining our fitness while also enjoying the holidays and having fun. Now, this is great in theory, but as we probably know, there are so many challenges that we might face that would prevent us from being able to strike this balance. The holiday season comes with so many unique challenges, and so in this episode, I'm going to be addressing each of these challenges and then providing you with practical strategies to help you overcome each of these challenges. The first types of challenges that people might face are mindset-related challenges. As always, I think it's so important that we need to address the mindset piece before diving into the more practical, actionable tips. Because if we don't have our mindset right, then none of these tips matter. We need to really have a good mindset in place. I already mentioned prioritizing balance, so that would be my first mindset tip. And then tip number 2 would be to avoid the all or nothing mentality. Just because you're entering the holiday season does not mean that you need to completely abandon all your fitness goals until January 1st. Trust me, I've fallen into this trap before where I kind of just gave up during the holidays and then went to an extreme and ramped it up in the new year, but this isn't a sustainable approach. Don't feel like taking a few days off is going to undo all of the work that you've put in all year. And don't feel like if you can't commit fully to your routine, then it's not worth trying at all. But instead, I want you to set realistic expectations for yourself. Prioritize consistency and just focus on maintaining what you're already doing. You don't need to focus on improving at all during this time. Just stay consistent and try to maintain your routine to the best of your ability. Focus on small, sustainable actions you can take, incorporating everyday healthy habits into your routine, and make sure to celebrate and acknowledge these small wins. The next tip is to remember your why, your reasoning and your motivation behind being on this fitness journey. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to listen to episode 5, which is all about how to get motivated to work out. And in that episode, I list some of the top benefits of exercising. Really think about why you want to exercise and what benefits are most meaningful to you. Remember to maintain your focus on your long-term goals, and this is going to help you to prioritize your fitness accordingly. And then the final mindset tip is to give yourself grace, practice self-compassion. Your routine is most likely going to be different during the holidays, and so it makes sense that your fitness is going to be different during the holidays too. You don't need to feel guilty about falling off track a little bit. And if you really need to, it's totally fine to dial back your fitness routine during the holiday season and taking a little bit of a break. In fact, it's important that we take deload weeks every so often in order to give our bodies rest, and that will help us to prioritize recovery. And then when we go back to our fitness routine, we will be back stronger and ready to tackle new goals. You really don't need to be so hard on yourself. It's not that serious if you fall off for a bit. Practice self-compassion and give yourself grace. So I want you to remember these mindsets all throughout the rest of the episode because this is going to help to guide your actions around the practical tips that I'll be sharing. The next challenge many people face is a lack of time during the holidays, having a busy schedule, preparing for and then attending holiday events. And of course, this means we have less time to prioritize our fitness. If you haven't listened to episode 9, which is all about how to work out when you have no time, definitely listen to that episode because I provide so many tips to help you with your time management. But for today's episode, I'll just be reiterating some of the high-level tips that I shared in that episode, this time around with a holiday twist. The first tip is to remember that you just need to dedicate, according to the physical activity guidelines, about 210 minutes a week to physical activity, which is just 0.02% of your week, in order to experience health benefits, which really isn't a whole lot when you think about it. Remember that every little bit of exercise that you do counts, and even a little bit of exercise can make a difference. The next tip is to plan your workouts at the beginning of the week. This is such a key when it comes to actually committing to your workouts. If you don't have a plan, you'll be way less likely to actually follow through and complete your workouts. I like to do this using Google Calendar and time blocking, but you can use whatever strategy works best for you. Tip number 3 is to eat the frog, which means prioritizing the most challenging tasks for you earlier on in the day. And that way you are taking advantage of your peak energy levels. So you're starting off your day with harder tasks and then gradually progressing to less challenging tasks. So apply this in the way that works best for you. For me, I actually find my workouts to be a less challenging task. And so I would most likely be focusing on my work earlier in the day and then ending my day off with a workout. But maybe for you, you find workouts to be more challenging. So in that case, start your day with your workout and then complete your other tasks following that. Tip number 4 is to do time-saving workouts. So focus on completing efficient workouts. This might look like prioritizing compound exercises over isolation exercises. So think exercises that are using your full body, multiple different muscle groups like a squat, a bench press, or a deadlift. Also, if you're short on time, you can prioritize high-intensity interval training workouts where you're completing a high-intensity cardio workout in a short period of time versus a lower-intensity cardio workout over a longer period of time. Also focus on simple workouts versus complicated workouts. There's no need to overcomplicate things, especially during this time of year. And also prioritizing full body workouts. Maybe during the holiday season, you're only able to hit a couple strength training workouts a week. So instead of focusing on a leg day or an upper body day, if you're doing a full body day each time that you work out, that will be a little bit more efficient. Another way to save time would be by doing home workouts versus going to a gym or a studio. Personally, I know I will definitely be doing lots of home workouts during the holidays because it will save me time rather than having to leave my house. And then also prioritizing mini workouts if you'd rather do shorter workouts throughout the day rather than one longer workout. So you could do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes on your lunch break, and then 10 minutes in the evening. And there you go. You've already accumulated 30 minutes of exercise. Remember that a short workout is way better than nothing at all. And then my last big tip when it comes to overcoming the challenge of lack of time would be to make your day harder if that's something that you feel would be appropriate in your routine. That could look like doing multitasking workouts, meaning you are doing multiple activities at the same time. So some activity that you need to complete along with exercise. One example might look like visiting with your family and friends, which you will be doing anyways, and then combining that with some sort of activity. Maybe you could go skating, or you could go to a holiday market and walk around, or you could even organize some sort of walk or workout following a meal. If you're hosting, this might mean that you need to do chores around the house, and so you can make your chores harder by wearing ankle weights or wrist weights and just adding a little bit of resistance to an activity that you're already doing. If you are holiday shopping, instead of shopping from the comfort of your home and doing online shopping, you could leave your house. I know, what a concept. And get in some steps while completing your holiday shopping. You could also do some body weight workouts if you're waiting for the cookies in the oven to bake, or you're waiting for your turkey to roast. Or maybe if you're having a night in, watching some holiday movies, you could stretch while you're watching the movie. These are just some examples, but really be creative and think of ways that you could combine working out with activities that you'll be completing anyways during the holidays. And then some tips I've given in the past to make your day harder would be taking the stairs rather than the elevator or escalator if you're able to. And when you are going holiday shopping, parking further away from the entrance. Again, just to make your day a little bit harder and get more steps in. On the flip side, if having a lack of time isn't a challenge for you, maybe you actually have some time off work or school during this time, then this could be a time where you actually prioritize your fitness more than normal to help you get into a good routine for the new year. The next challenge people face is a lack of motivation, whether it be from experiencing high levels of stress around the holidays, the colder weather and the shorter days making making you feel less motivated to leave your house and go to the gym, or maybe you're just experiencing end of year burnout. All of these things could contribute to having reduced motivation around this time of year. So some tips for staying motivated. First, set small, realistic goals. Now is not the time to overwhelm yourself with big goals, but instead just set small daily intentions. Things like prioritizing your water intake or moving every day or getting enough sleep or having a step goal, something that you know that you can commit to, and that will help to increase your confidence that you're actually completing something that you set your mind out to because it's small, realistic, and attainable. Tracking your progress can also help you to stay motivated. Find a way to track your progress that's motivating to you, whether it is using a habit tracker to keep track of all the days that you complete a workout, or maybe you're logging the weights that you're using at the gym. Having this visual representation of your progress will help you to stay motivated, and it will help you to celebrate your small wins as well. Another way to stay motivated is to romanticize your workouts around this time of year. Make it fun. Think of creative ways that you can take your usual workouts and add some sort of holiday twist on them, whether it's listening to a holiday music playlist during your workouts. Maybe you're wearing workout gear that is holiday themed. I know some workout classes around this time of year are holiday themed. And then also working out with friends to make it more fun and doing outdoor winter activities. This is the time of year where it's cold, but it's not super cold, like January level cold yet. And so take advantage of this weather to do activities that you could do in the cold without totally freezing. I know that I'm actually really looking forward to my workouts over the next month because I know that I have planned activities that I enjoy and make me feel great. The next tip to stay motivated during this time is you may want to consider shifting your workout schedule because of the lack of sunlight during the day. Personally, I've shifted my workout schedule because I don't want to go to the gym when it's completely dark outside. I'd rather go when there is still some daylight. And so I've adjusted my routine accordingly. So if this is something that's possible for you, definitely consider incorporating this to help you feel more motivated. And then if none of these tips work, my last tip is to just show up unmotivated. Experiencing periods where you have limited motivation is inevitable. If it doesn't happen around this time of year, it's going to happen at some point in the year. And so sometimes you need to just show up even on days when motivation is low. And by doing that and by proving to yourself that you can show up when you are unmotivated, that is going to help you to get back to a point where you feel more motivated. The next challenge many people experience would be a lack of support. So maybe you're surrounded by other people this time of year, like your family members who don't prioritize their fitness the way that you like to prioritize yours. And so it's important to have accountability. And some ways to build accountability, the first would be to have a workout buddy or multiple workout buddies. I'm grateful that I have so many workout buddies who help to keep me accountable year round. I have friends who I go to the gym with, friends who I go to yoga classes with, group fitness classes, going for walks, and friends who I do home workouts with. And this is super useful and motivating, especially during this time of the year. The next tip would be to be a leader. Take advantage of this opportunity to help motivate other people in your family to prioritize their fitness. You can invite them to join you for a workout. Make it easy, make it fun, and make it very attainable for them to want to participate. And in this way, it can help you to build connections with your family members and also maybe inspire them to start their own fitness journey. This could look like initiating active plans, initiating a walk, or doing some sort of mini workout following a meal, or maybe even getting a dance party started. I know I will not be the one to do that, but if that's your vibe, then go for it. Another way to build accountability would be to hire a coach or a trainer because they can help to guide and motivate you during this time. And then my last tip would be to join some sort of fitness community, whether it's online or in person. Find a group of people who is like-minded and who also prioritizes their fitness. So for example, right now I am using the Ladder app for my gym workouts. And through this app, I'm part of a community of thousands of other people who are completing the same program alongside me. And I have access to a chat where I can hear about how they're enjoying the workouts and the challenges that they're facing. And it really does help me to have some form of accountability. Even if it's people who I've never met before, it feels like I'm not doing this alone and like there are other people who are cheering me on along the way. The next challenge you might face might be having a lack of routine. So whether you're traveling or away from home, maybe there are reduced hours or closures at your gym or the studio that you go to. Maybe there are last minute plans popping up, or maybe you're having late night after late night through the holiday festivities. All of these things could lead to you being out of a normal routine. And so some tips to help you stay active while being out of routine. The first would be to do home workouts. There are tons of free YouTube videos online that you could follow along to. With these home workouts, maybe you have limited access to equipment. Just use whatever equipment you have access to, even if that's just using your body weight. Also, plan ahead so that way you are going to the gym or to the group fitness studio on days when you know it's open. If you're traveling, now might be the time to try a new gym or studio at the place that you're traveling to. Also, be prepared to pivot and create backup plans when last minute plans pop up that derail your original plans to work out. And then try to maintain some elements of your regular routine. And this can help you to maintain some sort of normalcy even when you're off your routine. The final thing that people struggle with during this time of year is their relationship with food and overindulging in holiday meals. When I asked you over on Instagram, many of you actually said that this was the biggest challenge that you face. And so while most of this episode was dedicated to ways that you can prioritize your fitness, I will share some quick tips today to help you with your relationship with food, acknowledging that I'm providing pretty surface level tips today, and I will do a much deeper dive and give this topic the proper attention that it deserves in a future episode. I just want to provide a disclaimer because I know that this is a sensitive topic for many people. And so if you don't think this will be helpful for you today, just skip to the next section of the episode, which will be listed in the show notes. So my tips for having a healthy relationship with food. Tip number 1 is to practice the 80-20 rule, meaning that you're trying to prioritize 80% of your food being fuel, so more nutrient dense food, and then 20% of your food, maybe it's a little bit less nutrient dense, but it is more considered fun food. In this way, you can enjoy your favorite holiday treats without overdoing it. And enjoying these treats absolutely is part of having a healthy relationship with food. You don't need to think about these numbers so strictly that it's always 80 and 20, but the whole point is just to say that majority of the food that you eat is going to help to make you feel your best. And then some of the food that you eat can be more for fun. The next tip is to control your own plate. In many cases, at a lot of holiday events, you actually have control of the food that you put on your plate, if it's a buffet style, for example. And so you can control your own portions and build a plate that you know is going to make you feel your best. Focusing again on those nutrient-dense foods. And I think that a good way to do this would be to prioritize protein on your plate because this is going to help you to feel satiated, and also loading up on veggies. The next tip is to indulge mindfully. You absolutely should treat yourself and indulge in delicious foods, but be selective. Choose your favorite foods that you actually love. Choose the foods that are only available this time of year and you look forward to and crave. I know I look forward to the sugar cookies that my mom makes, for example, and she only makes them this time of year. I'm going to be eating the sugar cookies, but maybe I won't be eating some other desserts that I don't like as much. Like, I probably won't be having the store-bought ice cream because I don't know, that's something I can have year round and I don't crave it quite as much. So be selective and think about what is going to bring you the most joy. Another tip is to wear clothes that you'll actually be comfortable in. I like to say that I wear my eating pants to the holiday meals. And this is such a niche reference, but if you ever watched the show That's So Raven, there was an episode where Corey, for whatever reason, he had to eat a big meal. And so he showed up in loose pants and said they were his eating pants. And ever since then, I'm like, Corey knows what's up. You should wear comfortable clothes when you know you're about to have a big meal. Why would you make yourself uncomfortable by wearing tight jeans when you know that you're going to be eating more than you normally would? Wear something that will make you feel comfortable so you don't feel horrible and uncomfortable after the meal. The next tip that has been such a game changer is the add, don't restrict approach. So this means you're not depriving yourself of foods that you're craving. You're not restricting yourself. Instead, you're going to honor your cravings, plus you're going to add a nutrient-dense food to whatever snack or meal you're having. So let's say, for example, I'm craving a cookie. I'm not just going to eat the cookie, which isn't going to help me to feel satiated. I'm going to eat the cookie and I'm going to cut up an apple and eat that with it. Or I'm going to make myself a yogurt bowl. In this way, you're fueling your body with nutrient-dense food that's actually going to make you feel good and satiated. And you're still honoring your body's craving without restricting it and putting it off limits. You also want to make sure that you're staying hydrated and drinking plenty of water because this is going to help with your appetite regulation. And also there are just a bunch of other benefits from drinking enough water. Embrace the mini bulk. This is not a tip that I hear too many people recommend, but I think it can actually be quite valuable. You will likely be eating more than normal during this time. You will likely be in a calorie surplus just because of the nature of the holidays. So don't feel any guilt about this. Instead, you can treat it as an opportunity to lift heavier in your workouts at the gym. Maybe try to build muscle or set a couple PRs. You could actually use this as fuel to reach new fitness goals. Just something to consider. And then my last tip is to not skip meals. Eat just like you normally would throughout the day, eat regularly. And this is going to help to regulate your appetite and then prevent you from being very hungry when you arrive at the holiday meal, which may actually cause you to overeat and overindulge even more when you get to that point because you are so hungry. So don't do that to yourself. Make sure that you're just eating healthy meals throughout the day. And then when the holiday meal rolls around, just treat it like another meal. And I just want to say that from personal experience, I've struggled with my relationship with food all throughout my life. I think everyone does. We're human. But especially during the holiday season and in December, I would struggle with overeating on sweets. My mom is always the one to make cookies and shortbread and fudge, and we make a lot of it so that way we can bring it to the holiday events. But then it's sitting around my house and it's sort of just looming. And then I always would feel the urge to just overindulge all throughout the day, all throughout the month on these sweets because they were in the house. But by applying these principles that I've just shared with you, I know for a fact that going into this holiday season, yes, those sweets are still going to be around the house, but because I have so much of a better relationship with food now, I'm not going to overindulge to the extent that I would have in the past. Instead, I might just save a cookie for myself that I can have at the end of the day as a little bit of a treat rather than feeling the need to overindulge on these cookies every time I go into the kitchen. And I hope that if you are in a place where you're struggling with your relationship with food right now, by sharing these tips and by hearing about my personal experience, you feel like there is hope, there is a way to improve your relationship with food. It's just something that you need to continually work on, and it really is a lifelong relationship that you need to prioritize. All right, wrapping it up with our community's responses. The first question I asked was, what's the biggest challenge you face when it comes to staying fit during the holidays? 33% of you said your relationship with food. So that was the highest. Like I said, many of you struggle with that, and so you shouldn't feel alone if that is something that you experience. 29% of you said a busy schedule, and 29% of you said the colder weather and shorter days, and then 10% of you said travel. So hopefully now that I've touched on all of these different challenges and provided different strategies to help you overcome them, you're feeling more confident to tackle these obstacles that you will likely face during the next month. And I would say that my biggest challenge would probably be the busy schedule, so I am definitely going to be applying the tips that I shared when it comes to managing my time. The next question I asked was, how confident do you feel about your ability to stay fit during the holidays? And I asked this on a scale ranging from not confident at all to very confident. The average response was just above the halfway mark, so somewhat confident, but there really were answers on all points of the scale. And hopefully, as always, now that you've listened through to this whole episode, you are feeling more confident in your ability to stay fit during the holidays. The next question I asked was, what's your intention for your fitness routine this holiday season? 77% of you said to maintain your current routine. And I would say same here. I would like to maintain. I think that's a very realistic goal. And I think it's great that most of you are planning to maintain during this time. 15% of you said increase my focus on fitness. So maybe you fall into that group where you actually have more time on your hands, whether it's time off school or time off work. And so I really do think now is a great time to kick it into overdrive and really prioritize your fitness if you do have that extra time. 8% of you said to decrease your focus on fitness. Maybe you have reasons that you do need to dial it down and give yourself a break during this time of year, and that is completely valid, and you can just get right back to it in the new year. And then none of you said that you're waiting until the new year to start your fitness routine, which means that none of you are putting off your goals, and that is awesome. And you really are embracing that winter arc that I spoke about a couple episodes ago. The last question I asked was, what's your biggest tip for staying fit during the holiday season? One of you said, make active social plans, enjoy the outdoors while it's still warm-ish. Yes, if you are making plans with your friends, definitely suggest this to them and encourage them to do some sort of active activity together, whether it's going to a holiday market or going skating, something that you would all enjoy. And so true, it's not warm by any means right now where I'm living, but it's definitely warmer than it's about to get. So take advantage of the opportunity to do those winter activities before it gets unbearably cold. One of you said a short workout is better than nothing, especially during a busy week. And this is so true year round, honestly, but especially during the holiday season. I know that personally, I'll probably be squeezing in lots of shorter workouts and more home workouts than I normally would during the rest of the year. And then the last response was listen to your body, practice moderation, stay hydrated, and keep moving. These are all amazing tips, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you are feeling empowered and ready to prioritize your fitness while also enjoying the holiday season. Please be sure to subscribe to or follow this podcast wherever you're listening. I will be posting lots more holiday content as we wrap up 2024, including reflections on the past year, as well as strategies to set goals for the new year. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate if you could share this with someone who you think might benefit from the strategies that I shared today. So I will see you in the next episode, and happy holidays, everyone.